Well, good morning, everybody. Grace and peace to you from our Lord Jesus Christ and all the saints here in beautiful sunny California. This video was supposed to be an airborne update. However, that's what happens when you don't do a sound check before before you complete the whole video. But in my own defense, I would not have been able to hear myself in that noisy environment. So we are not going to do an airborne update this week. I am so sorry. We're going to do an in the garage update. Actually, we'll do an out of the garage update. Hang on, there's about to be a lot of light here. Ooh, look at all that light. So yeah, we'll do a in front of the powered parachute update. How about that? Yeah, that sounds good. So there you can look at that thing in the background while I do my update. So what I basically talked about was, you know what, maybe I should set this down because I am going to be all over the place and shaking the video, and that's going to be no good for anybody. How we doing? Let's go up just a tad. There we go. All right, sorry about all the messing around. So yeah, sorry about it. Couldn't do the airborne update. Well, at least I was airborne, so that felt good. So I decompress and relax. In the work world, we've had one success and a couple of struggles, mostly firewall related. So the first thing I did this week, well, not the first thing, but first thing I accomplished this week was we have a new time clock project starting up at the hospital. Not a big fan of time clocks. I've never punched a time clock in my life. I've always been kind of in the professional arena, salaried. But technically at this job I am hourly. I am an hourly employee. But they've decided we're going to make everybody punch a time clock from top to bottom. Well, except for the very top. They don't have to do it. So we're getting these time clocks set up. They've been talking about doing this for, 5 years, and as this project's never completed. So we'll see if this project actually completes. You can tell I'm not a fan. Anyway, but I'll do my part. I'll do what I'm supposed to do. So my part this week was setting up a new network for them. Not with all switches and stuff like that. Just like a new VLAN and a new layer 3 address for that VLAN. So found an IP subnet that we aren't using. So assigned that to it. And then went ahead and so I got the VLAN, got the layer 3 assigned to that. I set up VRRP across 2 of my 4 core switches. Just sidebar, in our existing environment we have VRRP set up on all 4 of our core routers. And it's not that hard to maintain, but we just want to simplify it and get, not have to set up layer 3 in 4 places and routing in 6 places. So what we're trying to get to is 2 of our core routers will have layer 3 addresses on them. 2 of them will just be layer 2 routers, basically, distribution switches, basically. And then all the routing will be done in our firewalls. So external routing will be handled by our edge firewall. Internal routing will be handled by our segmentation firewall. So there you go. Okay, sidebar is over. So anyway, I got the new layer 2 set up. I got the layer 3 set up, the VLAN set up, the IP assigned to it. Set up the routes in the 2 firewalls, and then extended that VLAN to my test switch on my desk and put a test device on that VLAN, my little green meter. I've shown you guys that before, the link runner. Plugged the green meter in there, and it didn't get an IP address. Oh, shoot, what am I missing? How about DHCP scope? So I got into DHCP, created a new scope for it, and tested again. Nope, no IP. Oh, what am I missing? How about an IP helper in your layer 3 config in your core routers? Added that, and then boom, everything was working. So got that all set up. That was my one success for the week. So moving on to our other 3 issues, one of which has been resolved since I made that video, which we're not watching right now. So we've had 3 firewall issues, 2 of which are involving Panorama, which is what we use to manage the firewalls. So the first issue is we are trying to redeploy a master key from Panorama to the firewalls. What the master key does is basically just encrypt communications and verify communications between Panorama and the firewalls, make sure it's authentic communication, somebody's not hacking your firewall or whatever. Think of it like an OSPF key, where to exchange routes you got to exchange the key first. Well, with the master key on Panorama, you got to exchange the keys first before you can push configurations down, just to make sure everything's safe and secure and copacetic. So that's not working. So when Panorama was first set up by our contractors, they pushed the master key out and everything was working okay. They set it for a 1-year expiration, so we have a year, and then we've got a 30-day grace period to get it, to get the master key set. If we don't, then Panorama basically deletes all the configurations and uninstalls itself. That don't sound good. So thank you, Palo Alto. So we're working to get this master key updated. So we've done everything right. There's just a dialog box. You go in there and you fill out the old master key, new master key, retype new master key. Standard stuff, right? Then you tell it, how long do I want this thing to be alive? And then you tell it, what's my grace period going to be? That's all you put in this dialog box. And then there's an OK button at the bottom with the letters OK in it. So you press the OK button. Nothing happens. Maybe we've got something wrong there. So we've double checked, triple checked, quadruple checked, and everything is correct in the dialog box. The OK light lights up, but you click it, there's nothing happens. So we got Palo Alto on the phone, Palo Alto support, and the only thing he really did on the phone call was try to click OK, and we're like, dude, it didn't work for us. You think it's going to work for you? Anyway, sorry. So what he did is he grabbed configs from Panorama, from our firewalls, and he's gonna duplicate it in his lab and see if he can make it happen there. I don't know. We'll see. Palo Alto support has been a little lackluster lately. I'm sorry, guys. It's just true. So that's firewall problem number 1. Firewall problem number 2, which may also be related to Panorama. Well, it is. We were having problems authenticating users to Global Protect. Global Protect is our remote access VPN solution that we use from Palo Alto. And what we basically do is we have Active Directory groups set up. We've got, the firewall knows how to poll Active Directory and check for groups and users and all that good stuff. So we have Palo Alto, I just said it, checks users and groups in Active Directory, and you can write policies, you can do firewall authorizations on it. I mean, that's what we use to log into the firewall. It checks for our Active Directory credentials. And that's working, but when I set up a new group, it wasn't working. What's going on here? So I called Palo Alto, and they came up with a workaround, which, excuse me, got allergies here. their solution was, well, let's go into the firewall, which you're not supposed to change. You're supposed to change everything in Panorama and push it to the firewall. So we went into the firewall itself and said, okay, here's the Active Directory groups we want you to find. And we just saved that config locally on the firewall. And it's got a little thing there. It's got a little like gear icon that's either clear or green. If it's green, it's under Panorama control. If it's clear, then it's under its own control. So for that portion of the config right there is now under local firewall control. It's not being controlled by Panorama, so any changes we make on Panorama will not override that. Let me backtrack. You can make all kinds of other changes. It's just for that particular portion of the config, it won't overwrite it. So you can overwrite everything else, but not that, because you've told the firewall, okay, you're in charge of this. Don't listen to what he says. All right. Sorry, so many sidebars today. So we did that, and Global Protect authentication started working again. Yay! So we thought we were good. So we have for this new Active Directory group I created, it's for a new set of vendors. They're going to be doing some work on some new servers that we have at work. So I created a security policy that allows them to log into Global Protect, and in that same security policy, it only allows them to go to those servers that they're going to be working on. They couldn't log in. It kept telling them invalid username and password. Well, no, it's not. So just for giggles, I moved their account out of that new AD group I had created and just put them in the general employee group that we use just for regular employee access. They got in, no problem. They could get to their servers. Oh, that's weird. Put them back in the other group in Active Directory. All I'm doing is moving their user account from one group in Active Directory to another. I do that, the firewall says invalid username and password. What the? All right, so called Palo Alto back, said, look, now this isn't working. And he goes, oh yeah, well, there seems to be a problem with Panorama, reading user IDs and groups from Active Directory. So we need to put it under control of the master firewall. We need to pick a master firewall who's going to be talking to Active Directory, and then he'll share that information with Panorama. Okay, so we did that. Didn't work. It's not sharing information with Panorama. So then he says, well, what we're going to have to do is just re-import the config from the firewall back into Panorama, and that could fix the problem. Well, that was Wednesday or Thursday, I think Wednesday. I said, well, I'm not going to be able to do that because I'm out next week, which, by the way, I'm out next week. So if there is a video, it's going to be, Scott's, trip down to Lancaster, whatever. So anyway, that's problem number 2. Sorry for being so wordy. But I'm just scattered. I do this all off the cuff. I don't have a script. It's all whatever pops into my head at the time. That's problem number 2. Problem number 3, which we have been working on since January, and this is my boss, bless her heart, I love her, but she's been on me to get this done. I've been trying, and I could not make it work. I just could not. I told her, she goes, well, what's the problem? Just tell Palo Alto to help you. And I said, I am. They can't help me. I need help. Can you help me? 8 eyes are better than 4, right? That's what we always say to each other. 8 eyes are better than 4. So she says, all right, I'll help. So she gets on there and she's trying a few things, and this is like a month ago, and a couple weeks go by, and she comes up to me. She says, have you made any progress on this other problem? No. Can you help me? Okay, I'll see what I can do. Finally, this last week, I said, look, I'm going to be on vacation next week. She goes, well, transfer the case over to me. I said, okay, because that's what she said to begin with. She was going to help me out. Because I was getting nowhere. And I'll be the first to say that I'm a firewall idiot. It's just, it doesn't make connections in my brain. I can do the simple things, but when it gets into really deep, like this particular problem, what we're trying to set up is multi-factor authentication um, using Microsoft Azure as our provider. And I've set it up. They've sent me knowledge-based documents and how-tos, and I've set it up exactly the way they say to do it, and it's not working. So she's been going round and round with them all week long. And for those of you who don't know, I normally work Monday through Thursday, 10 hours a day. I'm off Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so she doesn't normally disturb me on my day off. But yesterday I got some text messages from her. She goes, "Problem's fixed." And I said, "Oh, cool. What was the key? What was the key to fixing this?" She said, "A bunch of stuff." I said, "Oh, great." So I finally I saw an email come in, my work email, which I normally don't check on my day off, but I saw it was from Palo Alto support. So I wanted to see what their recap was. There was like 10 or 12 different things they had to do to correct to make this thing work. And yeah, it was nowhere near what they had in their knowledge-based document and their how-to. Their how-to was like very, very light on details, and there was a lot of extra details. So I'm sorry, the email is there on my phone, and I'm filming on my phone, so I can't check it. But basically, there was problems with the NAT rule we had set up. There was problems with the security policy we had set up. There was problems with the certificate that we had selected that they told us to select. They ended up generating a completely new certificate. There were problems with see what all. There was problems with the portal and the gateway config, which is what Global Protect connects to when you quote unquote dial in. So it basically they had to do the whole thing from scratch yesterday on the phone. And yeah, my supervisor, my boss, we call her the boss, but we are actually the same what do you call it, grade level, the same job description. I'm what they call a DISA 4, Department Information Systems Analyst 4. She is a Department Information Systems Analyst 4. So we're actually the same, but she's the supervisor, and that's cool. But once she gets on the phone with somebody, she don't take nothing from nobody. Support is from India. She's from India. She actually worked for the companies that they engage for Palo Alto support. So any of their tricks they try, she doesn't have any of it. And she is not above screaming at them in their own language, which is a skill I don't have. And I don't like screaming at people anyway. She don't mind a bit. She'll rip you a new one if she's so inclined. So yeah, I can imagine that the phone calls were spirited and lively. But she got that problem solved. So yes, good deal. It's something she wanted done anyway, so I'm glad she was able to do it herself, frankly, because I was just having no luck. For those of you who've never watched my intro video, I'm self-taught. I've never taken a network class. Well, that's not true. I have, but it wasn't until after I was in the job position, because it's just basically, promotions and transfers and new jobs, and I've just kind of worked my way up. Starting as an electronics technician, working on test equipment that we use to test nuclear missiles, to moving into computer support, because a lot of the test equipment was computer-based at the time, just going to computer-based testing at that time, the late 80s, early 90s. From there to computer support on the THAAD missile, and from there to secure database, where I really started learning about networking. X25 and RS-232 based networking, if you can believe it. And then from there, it was a lot of self-taught. And they're like, well, hey, we got this new thing. What is it? Excuse me. They call it a router. We need to set up a serial tunnel on it from here to there. Okay, so I would just, start reading manuals and say, oh, serial tunnel, how do you do this here? So I'm all self-taught, basically. I mean, with the internet out there, anybody can learn anything, and that's the first thing I do. And that's one thing you should always remember in your jobs, is that you're not encountering any problem that somebody else hasn't already solved. You just need to find that solution. So, alrighty, we're going on, how long is it now? 20 minutes? Yeah, that's long. I've rambled on long enough. You guys, if you sat this far through it, God bless you. You're a patient person, or very bored. So anyway, I do appreciate all the nice comments, the comments of people asking me how much I make. Sorry, I'm not going to answer those. Again, internet, look it up online. You can find it. Yeah, keep the prayer requests coming. We're in a pretty good place right now. We don't need too much prayer. We can use a little, but it's for personal stuff that I'd rather not put on YouTube. Sorry. But other than that, our life is pretty good. Me and Mrs. Network Admin. And yeah, we just do the same old thing. One thing I am grateful for is God allowing me to fly again through my friend James. He's kind of an elderly guy, and he can't fly his plane as much as he used to, and he's really kind of wanting my help in flying it. And I think his ulterior motive is that I would fly him around here in a year or two. So, and I'm happy to do that. So, and I need to fly this thing again one of these days. Just waiting for some calm weather, which we had some today, but I slept in. So I didn't want to get up early to go out there and fly. So anyway, guys, sorry, that's all I got. I've rambled on long enough. If you like what you saw, click the subscribe button, click the notification bell if you want. Thumbs up, thumbs down, don't matter. Pick one, flip a coin. Thumbs up if you like the video. And we'll catch you guys all next time. God bless.